Greetings, everyone. I'm going to talk to you about the imminent return of Jesus Christ. That is, the anytime return of Jesus. We've all heard people say, Jesus can return at any time, no man knows the day or the hour. And then we hear them say, He shall come as a thief in the night. That's dispensational deception, folks. Those verses say nothing about whether or not Jesus can come at any time. They only say that you and I will not know the day and the hour. There's nothing there about a random anytime coming. And in fact, if you turn to Matthew chapter 24, verse 36, which is a verse that the dispensationalists say that they take literally, because they pride themselves in literalism, yet they do not take this verse literally. Let me read it to you. But that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels in heaven, but my Father only. Now this is a reference to the second coming of Jesus Christ. It says that the Father knows the day and the hour, and you and I do not know the day and the hour, nor do the angels, but the Father knows that day. The things the Father knows, He knows, right? That means He knows that day. There is a day appointed. You and I don't know that day or that hour, but there is a day appointed. And if the Father knows that day, it has to happen on that day. So it can't be any time. God isn't up there in heaven waiting around for things to happen, saying to Himself, wonder what'll happen next, wonder what'll happen next. Oh, maybe I better wait a bit. Oh, well, I didn't expect this, that, or the other. No, that's not it at all. This verse simply says, you and I will not know the exact day and hour. It doesn't say anything about the month, the week, anything to do with that. The exact day and hour the Father knows, and it will happen on that day that He has appointed. The other dispensational deception is when they say, well, He'll come as a thief in the night. That means He can come at any time. This is another dispensational deception. Let's turn to 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 and start with verse 2. It reads, For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. Now that's the verse that the dispensationalists quote, and they say, well, that means it's a big surprise and He can come at any time, and because a thief doesn't announce his coming. That's the typical rhetoric you hear from the dispensationalist who says they take the Bible literally when they don't. But they never read down to the verse that qualifies this, and that verse is number 4. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that that day should overtake you as a thief. Ye are all the children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. So what Paul says to the Thessalonian church is, you saved people, you true believers, will not be overtaken. It is the unbelievers that will be overtaken. And if you read back to verse 3, he says this, For when they shall say, Peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. So the chapter is addressed in 2 different ways. One, to the unbelievers who are going peace and safety. They're totally blind and ignorant of what's going on. They're not paying attention. And yes, that second coming will overtake them as a thief in the night. That's what Paul says. But you believers will not be overtaken. So you see what the dispensationalist does is plucks that verse out of context, verse number 2, and then says, well, that means Jesus can return at any time. It absolutely does not mean that. And then they say, and you'll be overtaken as a thief in the night. You will not know He's coming. And they stop before they get to verse 4. I've had dispensationalists pull that stunt on me, and that's why I'm alerting you to this. So the 2 verses you need to study, Matthew chapter 24, where it says no man knows the day or the hour, and 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verses 2 onward. Don't buy the lies of dispensationalism. Dispensationalism comes from the Jesuits Ribera and Bellarmine. It was picked up by Lacunza, then spread through Irving, C.I. Scofield and a host of dispensational futurists. The Bible does not teach that Jesus can return at any time, and those verses they use are taken out of context, and they are manipulating them to prove a presupposition. They've already decided. They believe Jesus can come at any time, therefore they make the Bible conform to their conditioning, their dogma. Don't fall for it, people. Stay away from dispensationalism. It is the opiate of eschatology. Thanks for listening.